Hello again, folks. Recently I've been doing a lot more surface mount soldering here in the workshop, and indeed you may have seen my recent surface mount soldering tutorial videos where I've shown you how to build a practice board similar to this one. Now, I think I said in those videos that, once you get your technique right, it's actually quite easy. Surface mount soldering is not as scary as you might think. But of course that's nice and easy to see when you're populating a nice, clean, brand new PCB. So what I thought we'd do tonight would be take a look at a different aspect of SMD soldering, and that is the removal and replacement of components. Because with the prevalence of surface mount devices in all our everyday products nowadays, it's more likely that if you have a product fail, it's going to have to be a surface mount repair rather than a through-hole repair. So this video is basically going to serve as another little tutorial showing you how to do that. So what we're going to do this evening is basically modify a product, and it is a PlayStation 3 controller. Now, it just so happens that this is what we're going to modify. It can be any product that you have. It could be something that's failed and you have to replace a component, or you may want to make a modification. So what we're going to do this evening is make a modification, and we're going to replace the four red LEDs that you get on a PlayStation controller with another colour. So yeah, the skills I'll show you are transferable to any surface mount, sort of product. So just to speed the video up, I have another PlayStation 3 controller which I have stripped down. I'm not going to show you how to strip down a controller. There's hundreds and hundreds of tutorials on how to do that on YouTube. But once you strip it down, you get your board out. We can see our four LEDs here. So let's just crack on ahead and get this going. So I think what I'll do actually is I will pause the video and I'll bring the watt surface up towards the camera just to make it a bit more in focus and a bit more sharp so you can see what's going on. So bear with me. Okay, welcome back. Right, that should be a bit sharper, a bit more detail. So the first thing we're going to have to do is prep our board, and what we're going to use to do that is our old friend Kapton tape. Kapton tape is a heat resistant tape, and what it does when we use it in this scenario is it protects the surrounding components that we don't want to fly off or potentially get overheated. It will still allow heat through, but it does offer minimal sort of protection to the other components, so best to use it if you've got it. So we'll just prep it up, and we're basically going to cover everything other than the four LEDs. So we'll do that now. And that'll probably do it there. I think I'll just put a little bit more on just to hold that board onto the watt surface. Okay, so there we have it. The only exposed components, as you can see, are the four LEDs. So the first thing we're going to have to do, or the next thing we're going to have to do, is get a hot air reflow gun, or rework gun I should say. Again, I'm using the Aten or Aten 858D Plus, available very cheaply from Amazon, and I'm just going to orientate this that way so that I'm not blowing heat directly onto this plastic connector. This will have, this is probably sort of glass filled plastic, so it will be fairly heat resistant, but that's the hot air gun up to temperature. So I'm starting off around 350 here, and all we're going to do here is move the hot air across the four LEDs, not keeping it at the same point for any great length of time. And using a pair of tweezers, I've got these ceramic ones here, we're just going to check every so often and see if there's any movement on those. And I'm going to turn the airflow down very slightly. These really don't want to come off just now, I don't know why. Of course this will be lead-free solder, which does take a little bit more temperature to get melting. There we go, so that's starting to come off now. And there we have it. Okay, so that's our LEDs off. Next thing to do is clean off the residual sort of flux and solder. So what we're going to use for that is a bit of solder wick. Now I'm using this cheapo stuff again, so we'll get our old stylo de flux, or flux pen if you prefer, and we'll just put a good dropper flux on there. If you are using cheaper solder wick, best to do that. As you can see on here, this has got quite a fine, quite a close weave on it, so it's not the best. So what we'll do is we'll just take our iron and heat up the wick and drag it across the pads where our LEDs were. That doesn't look too bad. It doesn't need to be super, it's not super critical that this is perfect, just the majority off. I'm going to take some isopropyl alcohol here. And then we'll just use the corner just to clean any residual flux off. And you see that yellow come off there, so that's good, nice and clean now. And that's left us with 8 nice and shiny pads. So now what I'm going to do, and I'll try and not get my fingers in the way this time, it is quite difficult to do, but I will just apply a little bit of pressure to the syringe and get tiny little dots of solder paste out. Okay, that doesn't look too bad at all. And next thing is to get some LEDs. So the size of the LEDs on a PlayStation controller are 0603s, but you can put 0805s on if you wish. But yeah, I think it's 0603s I've got in here. Excuse me. So I think what I will go for is blue, because I'm quite the sucker for blue LEDs. I do like them. So we'll get some out. I've just got these little, I got these years ago from eBay, and they were very, very cheap. And there we go. And as always, best technique to take these out is just use a pair of tweezers. I'll use these finer point ones. Peel off the film, back over the peel it back so you've passed the number you require, so we need 4 obviously, and then tip them out. Now of course I'll just check my workspace to make sure none of the old LEDs are knocking about, because that would be a bit of a fail if we did that. But here's our LEDs here, and if we pick one up and look at the back, now I don't know if I can get this to focus. Yeah, just about. You can see there's a triangle on here. So sometimes you'll get a triangle, sometimes you'll get a T-shape side on. So on here, the flat end of the triangle is the anode, or the positive side, and the pointy end of the triangle is the cathode, or negative side, and that's the same orientation, it's the same polarity for the T. So if it's a T shape, the top of the T as in the flat line on the top of the T, which would be on the left here, is the anode, and the bottom of the T would be the cathode. So on this board, the negative is marked in white, so basically the point needs to go to the white. So we'll pick this up and see how that is. So we need to turn that around 180 degrees. So there we've got our point, and we've just lost one. Right, we'll pick up another one then. So yeah, there's my point. So the point needs to go to the white. So we'll just pop that on top of the paste. As I said before, it's not super critical that that's aligned perfect, because it will sort itself out once it's reflowed. So we'll put the second one on, like so. And a third one. Luckily these are all been picked up in the right orientation. And there we'll get another one out the carrier tape. And there's our fourth one on. So you've noticed that those, well, you can possibly see that that solder paste has branched both pads, but don't worry about that, just put it straight in the middle. Okay, so that's our LEDs on there, gently align them as best you can. Let's see, it's not super critical that it's perfect, just a sort of rough alignment should do the job. And then we'll bring back hot air rework gun. So I'll drop the speed down to just above 1, and then we'll bring the heat in, and hopefully we should see these reflow. So again, don't keep the heat in any one area for any great length of time. And we'll see that go as a lighter grey colour, and then we'll see it start to melt, and we should see all the components pop into place. So there's the end one going, there's that one going, and there was the last one going. So that one, as you can see there, has slightly misaligned, so we'll just give it a gentle tap with the tweezers. And that should do the job. So we'll allow that to cool down for a second. And that should do it. And then what we'll do is we'll plug it in and see if it works. So I've actually got my PlayStation just in here, just to test it, because I don't have the buttons to press. So we'll pop the power in, and hopefully, there we go. 4 nice and shiny blue LEDs. So there we have it, guys. Just a case of reassembling the controller, putting the board in, and all that good stuff. And then you've got a nicely modified PlayStation controller. Of course, like I say, this can be applied to any type of device, so long as it's using surface mount components. Well, of course, you can mod through hole as well, but yeah, the whole purpose of this is to do the surface mount stuff. So, before I go, nearly at 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much all for subscribing. I think just over 40 to go now to £1,000 subscriber mark. Yeah, so there's still opportunity to enter the competition. I'll link just down here. If you just comment on this video, comment in the video down below, not this video that I'm talking to you on now, and I'll do that draw in the next couple of days. Yeah, thanks very much for watching. If you found it useful, as always, give us a thumbs up. If you didn't, give us a thumbs down, and if you haven't already done so and you'd like to do so, please subscribe. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. All the best.